to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. I'm Frankie Timbers. I'm the spiritual director here. That's especially for those of you that are joining us online, and we're so glad you're with us either today, tomorrow, or any day in the future. We are Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, and we are celebrating our beautiful theme for the year. It's so amazing. I feel like we just started it. And how did it get to be November, almost December, right? So it's living out loud. And the theme for this month is the mundane, the profane, and the sacred. And the topic that I have is, that's so human. And we're really blessed to have Lori Carlson, a licensed practitioner, assisting today. So she'll be celebrating with us with a little practice. And as most of you know, we have a website, and it's cslmorristown.org, where you can find all kinds of stuff, and we have some wonderful things coming up that I'll tell you about later. So today, that's so human, we're exploring this idea a little bit of the profane, a little bit more. So get ready, because there might be some swearing happening today. So if you're nervous about that, either get your earplugs or get your fingers ready or run out the door. But we were planning to do it in a very light-hearted way, right, Lori? Lori, our licensed practitioner, is available for Treatment Express, which is just where you get to have a little a taste of what it's like to work with a licensed practitioner and to receive a spiritual mind treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. And if you're here for the first time, we're so glad you're here. You get a free book from the shelf over there later, and we will give you a welcome packet. And so the exploration is the profane, noticing our resistance, and moving back into this place that we've explored all month, which is that all life is sacred. Everything is sacred. So let's do our Namaste practice, which is the Sanskrit word for the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you, which is really about giving and receiving. So be aware of that when we're doing the practice. So put your hands together and just bow to somebody and say, Namaste. And now let's do an opening treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. And so as we close our eyes and withdraw our attention from the outer world and just bring it into the inner world, into our heart of hearts, something shifts in the body because there's this instant sinking in, this instant alignment that becomes more connected to our breath, to our body, mind, spirit, all as one. And so here we recognize that there is a life force that governs all of life. We know this when we left home this morning and it felt a little chilly because it's now fall, getting closer to winter, and that is utterly predictable. So is this life force, utterly predictable, utterly available in every moment with every breath. And so the more we step away moment by moment from that outer experience and turn to that rich, abundant, glorious life within, we fall into remembrance of the truth of our very being. Then we give it life by means of our day-to-day living, by means of our actions, by means of our spiritual practices, by means of our service, by means of our love, the giving and the receiving. So today we embrace our humanness as one with the divine, not as separate. And here we discover something fresh, something new, something holy, something blessed that we take into our day-to-day living. So with awe and gratitude, then, we let this be so, knowing that the universal law responds to our word and demonstrates it in the highest and best ways for each and every one of us. And so it is.
So it is.
So, so we arrived at this idea this month that all life is sacred. And you and I were invited to notice where we say, yeah, all sacred, blah, 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 but not here, but not this person, but not that. and how we got to work with that in a new way by staying with it longer, by looking a little bit deeper, by listening a little bit more closely to the truth wisdom that is already within us, and then bring it into that experience. And so the whole idea of profane at its root means outside the temple. Separate from, feeling separate from the sacred. Thinking something isn't sacred doesn't make it so, right? And so when we explore that a little bit, we were invited to get a little uncomfortable and explore the areas where we might be struggling and see if we can bring them into the fold with these truth principles. In the Science of Mind magazine, which is now a 2-month at a time issue, I love this. I love that it's 2 months, but it's getting pretty beat up because I'm like a real student of the magazine and I really am loving it so much. So there's an article in here by Casey Taylor, and Casey Taylor is a spiritual director of Spirit Uncensored. Isn't that a great name? Spirit Uncensored, which is an organization centered on the concept of love. As they also serve as an assistant minister at the United Life Center for Spiritual Living in Oklahoma City. And she says this. The top of the article is called Mundane, Sacred, Profane, but the top is as an invitation to get uncomfortable. She says this: the concept of profanity is a social construct. Somewhere along the way, cultures decided that some words were bad. We call them swear or curse words. Many people believe these words don't belong in sacred places or experiences. However, younger generations reframe these seemingly offensive words to be used in more positive contexts. For instance, the book, You Are a Badass. I love that word, badass. You are a badass. How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero is full of swear words being applied in positive ways. The ideas conveyed in this book align with the Science of Mind teaching, but are framed in a way that younger people can connect with. This book is a New York Times bestseller at the moment. So, again, get ready, because there's going to be some cursing today in this celebration. Run, if you don't like that, close your ears, go la la la. How many of you remember George Carlin in the 70s?
Yes.
With the 7 vulgar words? I don't remember, and I'm not a big cursor, but here we go. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, mothersucker, and tits. I need to do that again. Just gotta get it out of my system. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. They're just
only yesterday.
Yes, I know, right? Isn't it interesting that those words are still not allowed on TV and radio? They still get bleeped out. They can say war and guns and killing, but not those words, right? So what are some of the words that you have taboos around? Some of the swear words that you have or have had taboos around?
Shithead.
Stupid, shithead.
Come on.
What else?
I don't like the word.
A word. Give me a word.
Cunt.
Cunt. What else?
Retard.
Retard.
Asshole.
Asshole.
Dumbass.
Dumbass. Yes, right? So we have these words around, and I love getting really, motherfucker, yeah, I get really creative with words. Like, I like to make up swear words. And so I'll say flip-flop or fudge or freak, right? And so it's fun to play with words, but we have taboos around words, right? And then there's these taboos that are around other things, religious taboos, right? The religious taboos are often around what?
Sex.
Sex, yes, just think. And know what I heard the other day? It blew me away. The Pope recently said this: the sex teachings of the Catholic Church is still in diapers.
Oh, absolutely.
The Pope said that. The Pope said that. And we know that when it comes to the Catholic religion, or many religions, is that there are these purity codes, these morality codes. And what they are about is to attack the shadow, to put everything that we feel taboo around in hiding. But we know you can't hide it, because when you hide it, it comes out. Hence a sex scandal the Catholic Church will never recover from. And I was raised Catholic. So the interesting thing is that Jesus never taught that. Jesus never attacked morals or morality codes. He attacked the ego nature. So what did he say? Those who have sinned cast the first stone when the woman was being stoned and nobody would throw the stone, right? We're all so human. And the more we embrace that, and the more we heal the shame that we feel about our humanness, the more free we are. And that freedom shows up in forms of health and abundance and creativity and joy and love, relationships, right? And so what most of us were taught in religion is to hate the flesh. That's why we see so much self-hatred, so much hate for the body. So often when women stand in front of the mirror, they focus on what they hate about their bodies instead of what they love. That's all part of the denial of the shadow side. And so the flesh is pure pleasure. Sex is pleasurable. Good food is pleasurable. Chocolate and coffee is pleasurable, right? And so when we embrace that and when we enjoy that, instead of that voice that turns it into a taboo or a wrong or a shame, there is a great freedom to just feel pleasure and to feel joy. And then there's cultural taboos, right? Did you know that this gesture in some cultures is extremely obscene? In our culture, it's yay, go for it. In Japan and in some South American cultures, it means F you. Did you know that there are certain taboos around food? What are some foods that we would never eat?
Pork?
We would never eat? What are some foods that we would never eat?
A rat.
Rat,
Dogs.
dogs, cats,
Horses.
horses. I grew up on horse meat.
No way.
In the Netherlands, horse meat was a cold cut. Quite delicious, I must say.
Oh,
Not something I've eaten here. And yes, so there's certain foods, right? Then there is the idea of tipping. In some countries, tipping is an insult. In this country, if you don't tip, it's an insult, right? PDAs, public displays of affection, are no-nos in many cultures, right? What else?
Nudity. Like
Nudity.
at the beach and stuff.
Yes, nudity. Breastfeeding in this country is considered obscene. That's so ridiculous. I'm like, why are breasts all of a sudden shameful? They are so beautiful, and they're so amazing that they can feed a baby up until, I don't know, I had a friend who nursed her baby till she was 6, which apparently is a taboo in this culture as well. What else? Is there anything else that you can think of that might be a taboo here that might not be so in other countries, or vice versa? No.
Slurping your food.
Huh? Slurping your food, yeah, eating with your mouth open is very rude in some cultures, right?
Eye contact.
Eye contact, being late. I don't mean that because in some cultures that's like a no-no. I'm so glad you're here. So what we discover then is we notice where we feel resistance, right? We notice where we feel shame. We notice where we feel fear and anxiety and judgment. And instead of pointing fingers, which we often do, right? We judge others so that we don't have to feel our own resistance, our own pain, our own heartache. And so we notice those things and we keep them where we are and we work with them within our own consciousness instead of projecting them on the outside world. So what we're really talking about is that we keep rising above the experiences that we have that cause us pain and heartache and shame and worry and anxiety and fear. And the more we keep rising, the more we experience ourselves as an instrument of love. The more we experience that delicious freedom of being a spiritual being in a human experience. And that's a beautiful gift that we can give ourselves. So this is really about how the Science of Mind teaching is a healing teaching, right? So many of you, and in my 30-some years, I've known so many of you, and I've known the things that you've struggled with. And I've gotten to work with you, and I've gotten, as a practitioner, and I've gotten to have you in classes, and I've seen you overcome things, all of you. And what I've noticed is that when you really take this teaching on and practice the principles, your life begins to change. You begin to open. You begin to free yourself. You don't have the same issues you had a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. There's a change. There's a shift. And Lori is going to talk a little bit about hers. Right, Lori? So what we're really doing is we keep moving into the direction of greater acceptance. And once we move into the direction of greater acceptance, even with our shame and our fears and our anxieties, we free ourselves. Because it's in acceptance that it floats away and doesn't run the show all the time. So we move into this consciousness of awe. Instead of going, this is wrong or that is wrong, we go, that is so interesting. Let me think about that a little bit. Let me sort through this. Let me look at this. Let me think about where it comes from. Let me see if it's really true. Let me see if there's ways for me to let it go. That's curiosity, right? To be really interested in how you experience the world and making decisions about what you're ready to let go of and be free of. So what we're doing then is we're doing that work for ourselves first. We do that as inner work. And it begins to show up in our relationship, in our careers, in our financial life, in our health. And so we're making peace with ourselves. That's what healing is. We make peace with ourselves. We make peace with the parts that we have felt shame around before. We make peace with the ways that we judge ourselves and others. We make peace with our anxieties and our fears about the future. And we make decisions about how we can stand in this moment, in this truth. We're really just healing the shadow. We're healing the shame that comes with being human, that comes with being incarnated in this existence. It's just information. It's just telling us where we're ready to grow, where we're ready to heal, where we're ready to be free, where we're ready to expand. And so the shame is just hiding the taboos and the unconscious limiting beliefs. And we know already that if we don't heal it, we just act it out. Hence the scandal in the Catholic Church, right? And so we choose then where we are to be free or where we continue to carry the burdens of life. And then we own them. Because I can choose to feel shame in a particular area and say, well, the rest of my life I'm just going to feel shame here and be miserable. That is a choice. But we need to first be conscious, because that would never be that would never be a conscious choice, I would say. So what we're saying then is we're taking that which was hidden, that which we felt shame about, that which is in the darkness, that which we can't show or express, we take it into the light. And what happens when we place something into the light, it shines a different hue onto it. And it often even dissolves. And then we see more clearly. When we say, wow, this is something I'm really struggling with. Let me just sit with it, honor it, own it. Allow myself to experience it, see it clearly, see if I can fuse it with a little bit of compassion and love, see if I can do some prayers around it, or maybe somebody else can do some prayers around it. And then what happens, it begins to dissolve, and it makes that space inside of us to express more freely, right? So we turn our burdens into blessings. We turn the things that we struggle with by shining a light upon them and then realizing that they were actually the things that awakened us, that grew us, that expanded us. We're all so human and divine. We're all so profane. I mean, anybody fart this morning? Or
Now, only on Tuesdays.
all so mundane and so extra. What was that?
I said only on Tuesdays, and Michael said Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, yes. So, yes, all so mundane and profane and yet so extraordinary. We're all so profane and so sacred and so holy. So, one of my colleagues, Reverend Peter Weldis and the Reverend Karen Fry, they are the spiritual directors of Center for Spiritual Living Dallas, and they have a big sign in their community, and the sign is TSRW, and it stands for "This shit really works." That's their logo. This shit really works. I love that because that's what I say all the time, or think, oh, this shit really works. I mean, Reverend Janice and I are prayer partners, and often I have a demonstration, and I go, here it is again, this shit really worked, right? It's so fun. And so, as Ernest Holmes says, we're always changed from glory to glory. Always changed from glory to glory, which is also a lovely quote in the Science of Mind textbook. So, this is just that invitation to just be and to notice what we notice. As in Untethered, in The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Notice what we notice, and then relax, and release, and let go. Notice what we notice. Relax, release, let go. Which is such a beautiful, simple practice. And I'm sure you've all done it. Because if you hadn't let go of any stuff from your past, you probably wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be the person that you are today. And so for a moment, think ahead and realize what you have the opportunity to be even freer around, more open around, more blessed around. So we're gonna have some music, and then Laurie's gonna come up, and then I'll do a few announcements, and then we have a song that I really wanna play, but it's not on it's not on our Empower Music list. So it's copyrighted music, so we're going to turn the live stream off and we're going to play that really wonderful song. This is Intimate with the Infinite by Amy Steinberg.
Let me be intimate with the infinite. Let me be deeply revealed. One with the knowing, ever present.
Love that. Give it to me,
Give it
God.
To me, God.
So, good morning. Good to see you all here. So, Reverend Frankie was talking about, how everything is sacred. We've been talking about that all month, how everything is sacred, but there are things that we consider profane. Well, I love this quote. It's actually by Elizabeth Beyer from the Hebrew Congregation and Temple of Beth or Rabbi, and it says, God is holy, but people, places, items, and days become sacred based upon our conduct through thoughts, words, and actions. A person can change the profane to holy. Well, that is my story. I mean, a lot of you know I have shared this here before that I was 30 years in addiction and alcoholism. And if there's anything that's profane and that keeps you feeling separate from the one, right? We know in this teaching that everything is one with Source, right? We are all sacred, so everything is one. But anything that keeps you outside that temple, that keeps you feeling separate, is by definition profane. And so my story is that, yes, I lived in that place of separation, in that place of feeling like I was in the profane. But now, I just last Saturday celebrated 10 years in recovery. And I share it openly, and I share it all the time, everywhere, because this is how I make it sacred. I make it sacred by sharing the hope with people, by sharing the inspiration that if it could happen for me, it could happen for anyone. And so I have moved what was a very profane sort of time in my life into something really sacred by making it be of service. And one of the ways that I have made that transition is through humor. Like Reverend Frankie, shared about the George Carlin words, and we all laughed, right? Everyone laughed. And what is laughter but something that brings us into that experience of oneness? Have you ever had an argument with a loved one or a friend, and you're fighting, you're arguing, and something happens, and all of a sudden you're both laughing hysterically, and you totally forget whatever you were fighting about or whatever was making you feel separate, because laughter is unifying. So I would like to read I wish it was my poem, but a beautiful poem by Hafez called Laughter. What is laughter? What is laughter? It is God waking up. Oh, it is God waking up. It is the sun poking its sweet head out from behind a cloud. You have been carrying too long, veiling your eyes and heart. It is light breaking ground for a great structure. That is your real body, called truth. It is happiness applauding itself and then taking flight to embrace everyone and everything in the world. Laughter is the pole star held in the sky by our beloved, who eternally says, yes, dear ones, come this way. Come this way towards me and love. Come with your tender mouths moving and your beautiful tongues conducting songs, and with your movements, your magic movements of hands and feet and glands and cells dancing. Know that to God's eye, all movement is a wondrous language, and music, such exquisite, wild music. Oh, what is laughter, Hafez? What is this precious love and laughter budding in our hearts? It is the glorious sound of a soul waking up. So how about if we wake up our souls, people? Are you ready for a little laughter?
Yes.
So I have shared here before laughter yoga during one of our celebrations in the past, and I have shared here before that I have a laughter practice that I do every night as part of my spiritual practice, which means that I make sure that I laugh out loud for a certain amount of time every day. And if I haven't laughed enough that day, I sit in front of my computer, I don't have a TV, and I watch stand-up until I am laughing out loud. And sometimes it takes me a long time to get to that place because, I don't find anything that makes, but I usually can find the humor in just about anything. But I do it as a spiritual practice because it reminds me of the sacred. It reminds me of my oneness. With spirit, with source, with everyone. I can find the humor in the most offensive comedy. I know other people cannot, but yes, I see some of you can too. I can find the humor in almost anything. So, and here's the thing. So, the thing about profanity, like Reverend Freddie said, what is it but a word that we invest energy in?
Yeah.
And if you can change the energy around what you invest, around the words that you're investing this energy in, you can change it from something that is profane or profanity to something that is sacred. And one way that you can do that is, I just learned that swearing connects the right side of your brain with the left side of your brain. Because the left side of your brain is the intellectual, conversational side, and the right side is the emotional side, right? And when you swear, it connects those two sides. So that sounds like a good reason to swear to me, right? So when you do swear, and I try not to swear, it's not like something I do all the time, but there are times when it is helpful, right? When it releases energy and emotion and allows you to move through something. In those times, instead of judging yourself for it, say, oh, here I am, connecting my right and left brain. Oh, this is good for me. This is a way to come into greater congruence and greater wholeness, right? So I'm going to invite you to do a little practice with me, okay? It's a little, TSRW. This shit really works, right? So shit's already been said here today. So I apologize if this offends anybody, but I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. There's 3 ways, 3 energies that I can put around this word. So this is that. Shit. Shit! And oh shit! So I'm going to invite you to do it with me. Right? We're just going to say the word. We're going to invest it with like a real angry emotion, and then we are going to laugh about it. And we are going to feel in our bodies how the same word has 3 different energies. And it's our choice, right? It's our choice what we invest it with. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm never saying that it's okay to swear at someone. Mm-mm. That is not the same thing. But swearing when like this, oh shit, that's just a release of energy. That is not, so just please don't get this wrong. I'm not saying it's okay ever to use that energy at someone. But for your own sake, you can unite your right and left parts of your brain, release a little energy, and move from something that seems profane, that we call profanity, into a sense of sacredness, just by getting in the flow of the energy and releasing it. Just by laughter, by coming into laughter and recognizing that laughter unites us all. So I invite you to join me. Okay, so say with me. Shit. 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 Oh, shit. One more time. Shit. 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 Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
And how does that feel? Did everyone feel the energy shift?
Yeah.
Did you see how you can move it from a profanity to possibly a sacred practice by just infusing it with laughter and remembering that laughter is the sound of a soul waking up. God, is that so beautiful? I wish I'd written that. So if you can come into laughter, and if you can find the laughter in any situation, you can move through what separates you into something that brings you into a greater awareness of oneness. And that is what this teaching is all about, right? So I invite you to take that practice home, to unite your right and left brains as much as possible, hopefully when you're in the privacy of your own space and not in public, and to laugh at yourselves. To laugh at yourselves and use laughter as a tool to move into a greater expression of the love that you are. Okay.
That's picture.
Thank you. And now, and now, oh shit, it is time to move into our offertory practice. So I invite you all to, I'll just hand that to you, you can pass that back. So this is our time of sacred giving. This is when we give back from that place of abundance, from that place of joy and laughter, from that place of oneness with each other and with this community. This is the time to give back. You can give back financially, you can do text to give. We now have a Venmo code up there. How cool is that? Moving right into the 21st century. Yeah, wait, what is this? You're 2024. You can do text to give. You can go on our website and hit the donate button. There is a basket of envelopes going around. But I invite you to give with generosity and with joy and with gratitude. For gratitude for this community, with gratitude for each other, and knowing that the law of circulation says that as you give, so you shall receive, to create even more good and abundance in your life, to give with that joy, to give. I know Reverend Frankie says she writes thank you on all her checks when she pays her bills. So to give with that attitude of gratitude and blessing. So I invite you to repeat after me. You can put your hands on your heart and to say, you know what, I don't need this. Divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love consecrates my gift.
I give joyfully.
I give joyfully.
I give gratefully.
I give gratefully.
And I give abundantly.
And I give abundantly.
Knowing that it comes back to be multiplied.
Knowing that it comes back to be multiplied.
I celebrate the oneness of us all.
I celebrate the oneness of us all.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So you can just continue passing that around. And I'm going to close out this part of celebration before Reverend Frankie comes back up to do some announcements. Just want to remind you, I am available for Treatment Express. I live for Treatment Express, so don't hesitate to come up and get a treatment after service. But I will close us out with an affirmative prayer, which is our word, for the closing treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you all, if you are comfortable, to close your eyes and to hear these words truly as if they were your own, and coming from that place within you, that place that we did the Namaste practice from, that place of inner divinity. And so just taking a breath and coming into that space, into that beautiful space of the soul awakening, into that beautiful place of knowing the sacredness of all life, into that beautiful place of oneness with the divine. And in this place, I recognize that we are all one, that there is one presence, one divine creative energy, and we are each a part of that. I know that this loving energy, this creative source flows in my very life, through my very life, out into life. And I know this is true for each one here and each one listening. We are all in this divine sacred flow. And as we align ourselves with the humor of life, with the humanness of life, as we align ourselves with that inner divinity that allows us to experience that humanness from a place of lightness, from a place of joy, from a place of acceptance, from a place of looking for the good and growing our awareness in every moment, from accepting that there is something sacred in every moment if we look for it. And so I affirm for us all today that as members of this community, we do just that. We participate and we go out as love in action and celebrate the sacred in every moment and in each other. That we see that inner divinity and that inner sacred self in everyone we encounter. because that is who and what we are, and that is how we get to show up in the world. And so from this place, I am so grateful. I am full with gratitude for this teaching, for this community, for this time together, and for the opportunity to experience the sacred in everything. And from this place of deep gratitude, I release my word into an ever-present and loving law, that universal law that must say yes, based as it is on my firm faith and conviction. And so I let it go. I let it be. And so it is.
So it is.